Hey, it's Michael. I was the first ruler of the Romanov Dynasty, so I'm kind of a big deal. At 16, I was reluctant to take the throne and assume all of those tough responsibilities. Some may say I was poorly educated and ill-equipped to rule by myself. So, I did what any 16-year-old would do and left the governing duties to my relatives. My relatives that controlled the throne did restore order to Russia during the time of troubles and made peace with Poland and Sweden. For the next 300 years, my descendants did some pretty crazy things. Hello, it's Alexis the First. I also took the throne at 16, but Boris Morozov, my mentor, was in control. Not many people liked me, so crazy riots took place, and I was forced to exile my dear friend and assume the responsibilities for myself. My biggest claim to fame is that I enslaved many of my own peasants to public land as serfs. Serfdom benefited Russia so much so that it went on for 200 years. What's up? You can call me Fyodor, Theodore, or T-Rom. Whatever, really. At the ripe old age of 15, I was well educated but suffered from partial paralyzation due to scurvy. I did some cool stuff in my reign, like establishing the Academy of Sciences in Russia's capital. My reign marked more freedom and lessened the severity of laws. After a 6-year reign, I went on the fly with the angels. I'm sure everyone missed me. Haha. My death caused the Moscow uprising over who would determine who would succeed me as Russian Tsar. Cheer, brah. Hello, I'm Ivan. I wasn't the smartest, so I served only as a figurehead of Russian rule, as I jointly ruled with Peter I, my half-brother. My older sister Sophia ruled as regent for me, which is a pretty nice thing to do. I didn't do much, but that's okay. Hello, I'm Peter. I knew European ideas held the key to success, so I instituted a policy of westernization and tried to adopt European ideas and technologies that helped to forge their great empires. Because of this, I became the biggest autocrat of the absolute monarchs. I adopted the mercantilist policies in order to improve and reform. I am Peter the Great. Hey, I'm Catherine. I came to the throne at 15 and was meant to be a German princess. I worked very hard to organize the provincial government, codified laws, and initiated state-sponsored education for not just boys, but girls too. However, I did crack down even harder on serfdom and allow the boyars to increase their power over the peasants. Haha, those darn serfs. Hey, it's Peter the Second. I let this cool old aristocratic Dolgoruki family move the Russian capital back to Moscow just for the fun of it. In return, they arranged a marriage for me, but on the day of my beautiful wedding, I died from smallpox. Something notable that I have done was disallow serfs from joining the military to escape a serfdom. Hey, what's cooking? It's Anna. Even before becoming empress, I was forced to agree to the articles by the Privy Council that took away a great deal of my power. I then combated this attempt at taking away my power by arresting and executing these members of the Privy Council. I then was viewed by an autocratic leader, although I had a cabinet that actually handled the government. I went to war with Poland and Turkey and defeated them, thus gaining access to the Black Sea. Hi, I'm Ivan the Sixth. Because I'm so young, my mommy was a regent. Peter the Great's daughter, Elizabeth, staged a coup and came to the throne and took my spot. I was then imprisoned until I was killed by an assassin. Oh no! Hi, I'm Elizabeth. As the daughter of Peter the Great, I was known to be the feminine counterpart of him because of my policies and style of leadership. Due to Russia entering 2 major wars at the time of reign, the War of Austrian Succession and the 7 Years' War, I greatly expanded Russia's borders. I replaced the cabinet system of government with a senate so I could easily make political decisions on my own. Hello, I am Peter the Third. When I was younger, I spent much of my time in Germany. I learned Swedish ideals and traditions. So when I became a Tsar of Russia, my people hated me. Even my wife didn't like me very much, because when I was killed within less than a year, They speculated my wife to be a part of the plot. Greetings, I am Catherine. I am considered one of the great Tsars of Russia. I expanded Russia's borders even further to include parts of the Ottoman Empire and Poland. I was a huge supporter of the art and literature and instituted the education of young girls of the nobles. Against my morals, I was forced to hold on to the burdens of serfdom, but I allowed them more rights and gave them some dignity that they deserved by being allowed to issue complaints.
Hey, it's Paul. I got the throne when I was 42. Like my mother, I granted the serfs and the peasants more rights, such as not having to work on Sundays. I established the law of hereditary Tsar succession so the heir to the throne is legally defined. There were numerous conspirators trying to assassinate me, so when they stormed my palace, I found a perfect hiding spot under my covers. I was promptly found and killed.
Yo, it's Alexander the First. I ruled during the Napoleonic Wars, which influenced much of my duties. I instituted a lot of liberal reforms and flirted with the idea of reforming serfdom and drafting a constitution, but I decided against it in the end. I then ended many of the earlier reforms and was paranoid that someone was going to assassinate me, but no one did. Hey, I'm Nicholas. I kind of got off on the wrong foot when there was a lot of confusion when I ascended to the throne. Apparently, there was a lot of people that were hot and bothered. There was a lot of rebellion and unrest within the people, so I eliminated the rebellion and came to power. I proceeded to crush rebels and their ideas in Hungary and Poland, resulting in a very negative view toward Russia from the rest of the world. I did, however, reduce the landlord's rule over the poor serfs. Those darn Ottomans are so annoying, so I went to bloody war with them known as the Crimean War. Hey, they call me Alexander the Liberator because I freed 22 million serfs. No big deal. I'm like Abraham Lincoln of Russia. And I also liberated those Bulgarians from Ottoman control. So I'm basically a rock star in Bulgaria, which is pretty gnarly. Among other things was an uprising of some crazy revolters in Russia. So I had to reassert Russian control and show Poland who's boss. Despite all these awesome things I've done, my ungrateful citizens decided to assassinate me in the streets of St. Petersburg. Total bummer, bro. Hey, I'm Alexander the Third. I took the throne at a bad time in Russia, and I was pretty upset that my people assassinated my dad, so I declared absolute power over the Russians to keep them in check. I killed a lot of revolutionaries and restricted the press so these crazy revolutionary ideals wouldn't spread. I was known as the peacemaker because I never got involved in any military effort. What up, I'm Nicholas the Second, straight out of Compton. Haha, just kidding. Because of the booming Industrial Revolution, I thought we could attack the Japanese and lost. The unrest of my citizens was noticed on the infamous Bloody Sunday where the palace guards shot the citizens. Apparently there was a miscommunication when I said, let them be heard, and someone heard it as, let them be murdered. Yikes. Well, my reign was kind of a failure. I didn't win any wars, and I ended the Romanov Dynasty. So yeah.